Okay, so I say a word, and then we have to come up with like the same word.
Okay, so
we'll start off with Halloween.
Okay.
Okay, and we have to think of a word, and I'm gonna count to 3. We have to say it at the same time. We have to keep going. We'll see how long it takes before we can get on the same word.
Okay, and it's Halloween related?
Yeah, so it's Halloween. Okay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Bat.
Candy. Bat. Okay, so now we have to find a link between
bat and candy.
Bat and candy.
Oh,
that's a hard one. Okay. Okay. Do you have a word?
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Cauldron. Okay. Cauldron.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, I got it. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Witch. We did it!
Awesome.
We got it so fast.
I know. Wow, 3 times. That's all it took.
Oh, we like screamed into the microphone.
Sorry, guys.
Hi friends, welcome back to Board Game Buzz today. My name is Carly.
And I'm Kim.
And today we are doing one of my favorite lists of all time. I love doing this list. And the list that we're going to be doing for you today is our top 10 Halloween games.
Yeah.
Halloween games. Growing up, I mean, I have to, if I'm doing this list, I have to give a shout out to my mom, because growing up, my mom, she is like the queen of Halloween. She loves Halloween. She would always literally like tear our entire house down and redecorate it like every Halloween. And she would always like be a witch. Like every year she's like a new witch for Halloween.
I like that.
And we would go where we lived. There was this area called like Gardener's Village, and they would do like a witches' night. Mm-hmm. And everyone would come and dress up as witches, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. So my mom definitely like instilled my like love and like obsession for Halloween growing up, because I'm just completely obsessed. And I know obviously there are a lot of great Halloween themed board games, which makes Halloween even better. So Kim, I wanted to like, what is your idea of like a perfect Halloween night? Like
So my ideal Halloween party, if you get invited to a Halloween party, is board games. Halloween board game marathon.
All day.
Yes.
All day Halloween games all day.
And I actually have a tradition every year that we do a Halloween board game marathon. I don't want to go out drinking. I don't want to dress in a slutty costume. I don't know if that's okay to say on your channel. But I just want to sit and I want to play all the spooky board games. That's the best.
Just board game after board game. Just like you said, like a board game marathon for Halloween. I've actually never done that myself. And so this is the first year that I'm going to be like doing that with Kim.
Yes.
Is we're going to get together and we're going to have a Halloween themed board game day where we just do Halloween board games all day long. Like what can be better than that, right?
So fun. I'm like already filled with joy.
So because how many years have you been doing like a Halloween themed board game night?
Since we lived in Indiana, and that was we moved here 6 years ago. So in Indiana, I would do it with my siblings.
Okay.
And then just kept it going once we moved out here as much as I could.
So I think it's safe to say that you've played a decent amount of Halloween themed board games, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, a lot of them are the same ones every year because that's what's in my collection. But I do try to add a new Halloween-themed board game to my collection every October so that I can add it to the list.
Add it to the list.
Marathons.
So because Kim you've been in this hobby way longer than I have. I'm fairly new, relatively new to the hobby. Mm-hmm. And so I actually haven't played as many, like, quote-unquote, Halloween-themed board games as I feel like you have. So going into this list, it was kind of harder for me to make this list because I had 5 right off the bat that I was like, oh, absolutely. Yeah. But then those last 5, I was like, I don't quite know, because I haven't really played all of them. Mm-hmm. And so at least for me, like when I'm kind of talking about like how I went about making this list, is I was definitely like theme forward. Like I obviously, I mean, Halloween themed for sure, but like being completely transparent, there are a couple games on my list that I personally haven't played. But I added them to the list because the theme was so strong and tied into Halloween so perfectly that like I had to add them to this list. And I did try to do my due diligence. Like I watched as many playthroughs as I can. I watched like bunch of review videos, so I do feel like I have a decent amount of knowledge surrounding these board games.
Yeah.
I'll be like upfront and honest about the ones that I haven't personally played. But yes, for me, like thinking about this list, it was definitely just theme.
Theme is very important when it comes to like a spooky game.
Spooky, yeah.
Like I want it to fit the vibe of being able to like dim the lights and put on spooky music, and then you're like put into the whatever you're dealing with, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's definitely that's definitely what I think about when I'm adding a board game to my collection for Halloween specifically, and what I thought about with this list, like going from the ones that feel like the least thematic to the ones that feel the most thematic.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how I ranked mine too. Kind of least thematic, for the most part.
Yeah.
And then up to like, those are the ones that you should play on Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and jump into this list really quick. So we're going to go ahead and start with our number 10.
I actually have a number 11.
Oh, you have a number
Cheated
11? Okay,
bit.
so we're gonna have an honorable mention really quick from Kim here.
My honorable mention is a game that I feel like has to is One Night Ultimate Werewolf, and it's not like the greatest game ever, which is why I'm giving it an honorable mention. But I think most people can say, like, when you're, especially for me, having a board game marathon, that's one that I might pull out in between the more heavier games or at the very beginning, and you can get a lot of people to play it. And my son, he really loves it. It's like he likes it a lot, and because I mean it's kind of goofy because you're switching parts, but I mean it is about werewolves.
That's a really good one for like a big group of people.
Yes,
and especially if you're doing a Halloween party.
Yes,
and there's like a lot of people. That's a good one to pull out.
It definitely is.
All right, so now we are jumping into our official top 10 list for Halloween. So Kim, how about you go ahead and start? What is your number 10?
All right.
Pick. Well, let me guess it. How about you describe it?
Because we don't know each other's lists.
We did not look at each other's lists at all. I have a couple that I am guessing that, like, I think there's 2 that I would bet money that are going to be on your list.
Yeah.
I think 2.
Yeah.
So if they come up, I'll mention. I don't know. Do you think you can guess any of mine?
Yeah, I think I can guess a couple.
A couple?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see. Do you think there'll be any, like, crossovers?
I think we will list some of the same, yes.
Okay.
Now what will be interesting is like how if we rank them the same or if we rank them differently.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So my number 10 is Ghost Stories. And that is my number 10 because I was actually telling Carly this the other day. It's number 10 because while it is, I pull it out because it's called Ghost Stories. And I enjoy playing it, and it's fun, and it's a cooperative game.
And there are, like, ghosts in it, and, like, mummies and stuff, or zombies.
Yeah. So there are, like, but it's not like when I think the game is titled, I don't know, maybe you guys would agree or disagree. I think that's titled incorrectly. Because at least for me, when I think of ghost stories, I think of, like, sitting around a campfire and telling spooky stories. But that's also my, like, westernized brain, like, telling me that's, like, what a ghost story is. But in ghost stories, you're Taoist monks, and you're fighting off these evil spirits that are attacking the village. And they're preparing the way for the big evil guy, Wu Fang, who's going to come and, like, destroy everything. So you're just kind of grinding and trying to, like, kill as many ghosts as you can. And they are ghosts, and they are spooky. They look spooky. They're like these they're like these black winged creatures that are coming to haunt you.
We just played Ghost Stories recently, and I agree. I do feel like it is titled slightly wrong because, again, just my perception of it, and again, like you said, it might be just like our westernized, like, mindset. But yeah, I was like, oh, I wasn't kind of expecting this, but I did really like it, and it is, like, stressful when all of a sudden, like, all those cards are coming out and you've got stuff coming at you on both sides and you don't know how to handle it. But I mean, it definitely does fit into, like I said, like, there's zombies, there's ghosts, there's, you know, stuff going on. So I think that's a great number 10. All right, so my number 10, this is, I almost didn't add this to the list because I have a feeling that some people are going to be like, that is not a Halloween game. But for me, it totally is. So for me, my number 10 is actually Quacks of Quedlinburg. And the reason why I say that is because I know in the game, like, thematically, you're like a quack doctor. No, I'm sorry, you're a witch. Like, that's how I mean, like, whenever I played this game, that's how I explained. I was like, we are witches and we're brewing potions. Like, that's what it feels like to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's not necessarily like, I'm a doctor creating, no. You're a witch. I'm sorry. That's what it is
You're
in the
a witch
game.
doctor.
You have a cauldron brewing your potions. And it's just a fun one. And especially, like, for kids, like, we play that. We play it way, like, throughout the year. But we play it a lot at Halloween time, specifically because it just kind of gives me those, I don't know, just like witching. It feels like you're brewing a potion. Yeah. It's a really fun little push your luck game. So again, it's my number 10 because I understand it's not like it's not as thematic as actually the rest of my list. That's why it's number 10. But I did want to add it to the list because it feels like a Halloween game to me. All right, number 9.
Okay, I cheated a little bit again because I have 2 for my number 9 spot.
You got 2?
Yes.
This is going to be like a top 15 list.
Yeah. After this, it's all straightforward. But the 2 that I picked were a board game called Shadow Hunters, and then another one that is called Midnight Party. It's by Ravensburger, but it's not sold anymore. And I think it was actually released or retitled, I forget what year, somewhat recently, and it's now called Escape from the Hidden Castle. But if you're not familiar with Shadow Hunters, there are shadows and there are hunters.
No, really?
Yeah, it's a hidden identity game, and there are also some neutral characters in there, but the shadows are like scary, and some of them are like vampires, and then you have the hunters. And the hunters are trying to take out the shadows are trying to take out the hunters, and the neutral characters have their own missions they're trying to accomplish. But it's a good one, especially for having like a Halloween board game night with multiple people, because it does play up to 8 people. So I like it for that reason. And like a little bit of hidden identity is also fun. And then the other one that I have is Midnight Party, or it's been remade into Escape from the Hidden Castle. But Escape from the Hidden Castle has pretty much the same rules as Midnight Party. And I grew up playing Midnight Party. So it is like a children's game, but again, it does play up to 8 people. And in Midnight Party, there's like rooms that go around. You're like in a mansion, and then there's this ghost that he slowly comes out as you roll the dice, and then he goes and he haunts around the board. And if he catches your person, then you get captured. So you're trying to like escape into these rooms, and it's just like this fun, like somewhat suspenseful game. And it also is a great Halloween board game for families. So if you're doing a family Halloween board game night, then I would look into Escape from the Hidden Castle.
I actually hadn't heard about either of those. Do you own those?
I have Midnight Party.
Midnight Party.
Yes.
Okay, well we should try it. Well, I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
Or we'll play it soon, because I actually haven't heard of either of those. So I'm gonna have to look
Midnight
those up.
Party is old. It's an old game.
An old game.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so my number 9 is actually a game that I played fairly recently, like within like the last couple weeks. And it is a game that is app supported. I don't think you've played it.
Okay.
I don't think so. But it's app supported, and as I was playing it, I was like, oh, this would be such a fun game to do like a crime, board game night during Halloween. So my number 9 is actually Chronicles of Crime.
Okay.
By Lucky Duck Games. So basically in Chronicles of Crime, there's like, crime that's happening. I believe it's in London. I might be wrong. And basically you are taking on the role of investigators, you and everybody around the table, and trying to solve who killed who. But the reason why I like this game so much is because it's app supported. It is like literally all you do to set up the game is just like unfold the little like the mat it comes with, and just section out the cards, and then you basically just go over to the app and it controls everything for you. Kind of like in Destinies, like when we played Destinies. It's very similar to that. So it says, you know, so-and-so has died. So find this person and then place them in the location where they were found. And so you do that, and it's cool because the game is timed, but which again, I don't really like timed games, but the way that this works is every time you scan something or like talk to somebody, it like takes 5 minutes away. And so you're trying to solve it within like, you know, a certain amount of time frame, but also being aware of your actions, because you don't want to, you know, ask too many people or go around doing things that you don't really feel like is important, because you're going to lose a lot of time by doing that. And so it's really interesting and it's really cool. And there's even times throughout the game where you go to investigate a crime scene and you turn your phone sideways, and as you are, like, it literally shows you the crime scene. So you can look around and you can like try to find stuff, and then you're like shouting out, okay, I see a dead cat, or I see something. And so your other people around the table are trying to find those clues.
Okay.
They'll lay out those clues, and then once, because you only get like a certain amount of, I think you get like a minute to like look at the crime scene. Then you look at those clues and you're like, okay, what ones do we feel like are important that we should like ask the police chief about, or we should ask the morgue about, or we should, so it's so interesting and it's so fun. And I feel like it would just be so fun to do like a crime themed board game night, like around that game, because it just, I don't know, it was fun. It felt like Halloween to me. And I love crime stuff, like you had already mentioned. It's like fascinating to me. And I feel like Chronicles of Crime really implements that in a really fun, interesting way. So that was my number 9.
My number 8 is also an app-supported game.
Oh, really?
And Carly just mentioned it while she was talking about it. And that is Destinies. Yes. Especially if you play the whole if you have the base game, the first standalone scenario, that's the one I guess I would recommend for a board game night, because that one's like involves like wolves and werewolves, and like you're trying to figure out what your destiny is, and these things that are plaguing the world. And that one is especially good if there's just like a day randomly in October, you're like, I want to have a spooky game night, and it's just you and your partner, because Destinies only plays up to 3 people. I've been looking at one of the expansions for Destinies, which is called Witchwood. I haven't looked.
I was actually just going to mention that one. But the moment you said Destinies, I was like, oh, I wonder if she's seen Witchwood, because that totally fits in.
Witchwood would definitely, so I'm planning, I have several expansions for Destinies, because both me and my husband really like the game. And I'm definitely going to be adding Witchwood at some point, and we'll definitely play it for Halloween, because it's just witches and creepy.
The nice thing about app-supported games, like when I first kind of got into the hobby, for whatever reason, I was like, very much like against app-supported games, but the more that I've played them, I actually really like them.
Yeah.
Like, because it's just so nice to have, I don't know, I really, like when we played Destinies, I think that was actually the first time I played an app-supported game was with Destinies with you. But it was so nice because, you know, the game just kind of slowly revealed itself, you know, a little bit at a time, and the app, I mean, if an app is integrated well, because obviously if it's not, then that's not fun, but I feel like Lucky Duck does a really good job with integrating apps into their games. It's fun because then you can focus on the game. Yeah. Like you can focus on the game and just let the app take care of the rest.
Yeah, and then it makes it easy to learn and also to teach. I feel like it seems like it's a complicated game, but having the app like makes it, I think, a lot easier.
My number 8 is one I haven't played. Okay. So this is one that I haven't played yet. But again, I looked through a handful of playthroughs, a handful of reviews. I feel like I do understand the game, and I feel like it is one that is just so perfect for Halloween. My number 8 is going to be the Night Cage. What the Night Cage is, it is like so interesting. It's the game that, like, if you want to sit around the table, turn off all the lights, light some candles, and play a board game. Like, this is the board game to do that with.
Okay.
So in the Night Cage, basically it is a cooperative game. You and everybody around the table are working together, and you basically are trapped in the Night Cage. Okay. So you start off the game, and you are trapped in this Night Cage. Now, what you do is on your turn. I know. And the cool thing about this game is it's completely black and white. So it's very black and white, has very interesting artwork. And you basically are holding a candle, and as you are moving throughout this grid, every time you take a step, your candle will light up. You'll like reveal tiles, the tiles that are adjacent to you. But by so doing, you inevitably step away from some tiles. And so those tiles, they'll get plunged into darkness, and those tiles will be removed from the game. And the goal of the game is you are moving around this board trying to collect keys. And the only way to win is if all players around the table have found their keys, and a door will eventually appear somewhere on the board. At some point, there'll be a door. And so in order to win the game is everybody has to have their keys and be on the same door tile at the same time to escape. And so while you're moving around, there are monsters that can come out, and they can kill you. You can fall into pits. Partially why it's so low down on the list, because I know some of the complaints about this game is like it is very luck-based. Because it is. You're basically just moving around, waiting for the right tiles to come out, but it's so thematic that like I feel like if you like you said, you get around a table, turn off all the lights, light some candles, and you just try your best as a team to collectively get the keys and wait for the door and avoid the monsters. It's something that just seems like so much fun to play at Halloween time. Yeah. And I don't really know if I would even want to play that game if it wasn't Halloween time. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good game to have on this list because it fits just that spooky vibe. Like I know Tom Vasel, I was watching his review a couple days ago, and he was like, there's not a lot of games that like get me spooked out, but like this one spooked me. He was like, this one was scary.
My number 7 is Arkham Horror, the card game.
That's the one that I've been dying to play.
Oh,
so
yes.
I haven't played that one. And that's the one that I thought would be on your list.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Okay, so it's on my list. Arkham Horror, the board game, is also great. I haven't played that one in years, though. But we did play through Arkham Horror, the card game, last year with some friends. And we played it through, I think, around Halloween, now that I'm thinking about it.
Perfect timing.
Yes, perfect timing. And if you're not familiar with it, it's from Lovecraft's Cthulhu world, and you are investigators, and you can play it kind of like a campaign. So you're playing through the scenario, and the things that happen in each game can affect your future choices. Like if you choose to save the professor, like, do we want to help the professor, or do we want to leave him
let him
to
die?
Like, so those different choices can affect your future games, and it's perfect for Halloween. Scary monsters come out, and of course that is Halloween related because scary monsters who are coming to destroy everything. And I also really like cooperative games for like a lot of spoiler, a lot of my games on here are cooperative.
I feel like Halloween is like the perfect time to have cooperative games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have the monster and we're all working it. Because there's a decent amount of my list that are cooperative games as well. So yeah, I think it fits in with Halloween to have a cooperative game.
Yes, so my number 7 is Arkham Horror, the card game.
All right, so my number 7, I know you are not, I don't think you're a huge fan of this game. But this is one that we play, well, my daughter loves this game. And we play it like all throughout the year. But I feel like Halloween is the perfect time to play this game. Again, another cooperative game. And this is Mysterium. Oh. So my daughter is obsessed with Mysterium. I feel like I've played it so much that I'm a bit like Mysterium'd out. But it is such a fun game. So in Mysterium, you and everyone around the table are like psychics. And then there's one person who's playing the ghost. And so the ghost will be giving out visions to the psychics around the table, trying to direct them on who killed them in what location, and with what weapon. And so around the table, players are trying to, find the suspects who were there that night. And then once you successfully find the suspects, then it comes down to like the last final round where everybody has to like vote on who the actual killer was. And I just love the way that the cards work. And it's interesting because I actually played this when we went to Yellowstone this past year. We taught my grandma it. And it became like my grandma became obsessed with this game because and her reasoning why was I love seeing like just hearing people's thought processes in regards to the visions that they're getting. And there's sometimes like as a ghost where I'm like, man, I really hope they pick up on that one tiny thing. And then they end up zeroing in on something else in the vision. And you're like, no, that's not what I was trying to do. Or the exact opposite when you do give out those cards and they zero in exactly on what you wanted them to pick up on.
They mind meld.
Yes, exactly, the mind meld. But yeah, I feel like it's just a great game. Again, another cooperative one, but a great one to play at Halloween time. So, yeah.
So we now have a crossover because
are you kidding
my
me?
number 6 is Mysterium.
Okay, so we do have a crossover.
Yes. You rated it as 7 though, right?
7, yes.
So for me, it was number 6, and I do like the game.
Okay, I thought you didn't like
my
the game.
husband doesn't like the game.
Oh, your husband. Okay, that's
Doran
who I was.
doesn't like the game.
That's who I was thinking
But
of.
I do enjoy it. Yeah, especially for having my a Halloween board game party. Mysterium was an excellent one because it can play up to 7, and I really enjoy being the ghost.
I do too. Yeah, that's my favorite part.
It has a little bit of like Codename feel to it. I've never played Codename Pictures, but I imagine maybe that's somewhat similar.
I can totally see that actually.
Because it's like, I love being the clue giver and code names and trying to make the word connections and whatnot. And Mysterium, it's fun to like try to think of the people that are around the table and try to think how they might think and give them the pictures that will get them to cue on the things that I'm hoping they'll cue on to.
And it's nice because the guessing part is all simultaneous.
Yeah.
So like it even with a large player count, like it does play really quick.
That is my number 6.
Number 6, first crossover.
Yep.
I'm shocked that for whatever reason I thought that you didn't like Mysterium. So.
No, I do enjoy it. I do like it. We're into the bottom 5.
We're good.
Wait, you have to do your number 6.
I have to do my number 6.
I got excited.
We're almost there. Almost there. Okay, so my number 6, the reason why this is number 6 is because this is a show that I fell in love with when I first watched it, and I watch it every single Halloween season since the first time I saw it. I sit down and I binge the whole first season. I'm sure you already know what I'm going to say.
I'm going to guess.
Go ahead.
So the Stranger Things?
Yes, the Stranger Things. Okay, so it's the new Stranger Things game by Simon. And I've been wanting a Stranger Things game for like a while before they even announced this. But then once they announced it, I was just so excited, and I just really hoped that they would do like a good version of it. And I got the game, and I really, really enjoy it. Again, I don't think it's like a perfect game by any sense because, but it's very thematic in the sense that it is so freaking hard to win this game. So again, it's another cooperative game. So you take on the role of one of the characters in Stranger Things, and you are basically moving about the board. And there's just so many ways to lose. So like if you have like a fear track. So one of the ways to lose is if somebody around the table maxes out their fear track, which is so easy to do if you're not careful. So if you max out your fear track, you die. If you it's kind of hard to explain, but if you, I believe it's the action cards. If you like go through the action cards deck 3 times, then you die. And I think there's another losing condition too. But basically, you're just going about trying to save Will or rescue Will. And how you do that is you basically are kind of betting against these stacks of tokens. But what makes it interesting is at the end of every player's turn, a scene card gets revealed. And that scene card can just screw you over so bad. And so you're just kind of revealing these scene cards, but something about it is just very thematic to me. And again, I just sit down and I watch the series every Halloween season. So it's fun to be able to have a board game now on top of that is like Stranger Things themed.
Top 5. All right. Okay. So my number 5 is Horrified.
Horrified.
I mean, the title is called Horrified. So, like,
I mean, absolutely.
There you go. It's gonna be on your Halloween. It's got to be in your Halloween.
It has to
list and your Halloween board game nights, and especially like it's another cooperative game, and the monsters that you are fighting are Dracula, Frankenstein and his bride, the Mummy,
the Black Lagoon monster.
Yes, like all your typical, like, I guess, horror classic horror monsters.
Yeah, like your classic, yeah.
So, like, I don't know, like, the game itself could just, I mean, I think there is a game called Halloween or something, but...
Yeah.
But it's a perfect, like, thematically, working together, fighting the monsters, like, I don't know if I have much more to say about it, except for that it should be on your list. It's going to be played. It's a spooky game. And you're gonna be horrified.
You're gonna be horrified. All right, so my number 5. My number 5 is Beast. And Beast is one that I've been dying to play with you. I've been dying to play Beast with Kim because I think you'll like it. But Beast, it is a hidden movement game. Where one player is playing the beast and the other players around the table are playing the hunters. And as the beast, you are secretly moving around the board, trying to complete your objectives, while the hunters are trying their best to figure out where you are, hunt you down, and kill you. And the reason why I think this is a great Halloween game is it's as you are playing it, like, there have been times where I've been playing this game as a hunter, and I'm, like, scared. Because I'm like, I think he's right behind me. I don't know if he's right behind me. Could he quickly jump in and kill me? So, yeah, it's just a really fun game I feel like to play around Halloween time because it does, I mean, it's fun because you're kind of working around a mystery of, like, where is the person, and, you know, trying to work together against the beast. Like, Jordan loves playing the beast, and so it's fun to kind of play against him and try to figure out where he is. It's just, I don't know, it's just a really fun one, and I feel like it's a fun one to play at Halloween. So
yeah, I would say so. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but it's called Beast. So
Beast.
Like, again, just the title thematically to me is like Halloween because of beasts and monsters and suspense. It's
it's a very suspenseful game. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you want to be on the edge of your seat.
Yes.
With, like, these games.
And you are in that game.
Yeah.
You're constantly on the edge of your seat. So
my number 4 is a board game I have not yet played. But
okay, so I'm not alone with that.
You're not alone. I am been dying to play it, and I almost got it for this year, but I'm like, I keep going back and forth.
You still might. She might. By the time this video's out, she might have bought this game.
And that is Nemesis.
Oh.
Yes, because it's Nemesis, if you're not familiar with it, is another cooperative game with the possibility of a traitor. You can play it, I guess, both ways, where you can play it without a traitor or with a traitor. And I think traitors are more thematic around Halloween. But
everybody's stabbing people in the back.
But so you're on this like spaceship, and you wake up after being like in your incubator. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I haven't played the game. This is from what I recall from all of my research about the game. But you wake up and you guys find this dead body, and you're like, oh, why is this? What happened and whatnot. And then you find out that the spaceship is infested with these really terrifying aliens.
Really terrifying.
It's like Aliens the movie and a board game. And like Aliens is suspenseful and intense and like scary, and so
being in space, trapped on a spaceship with
and like one of the comments that I read online about this game was they said it's not about winning the game, like how you win the game, because I've heard it's really difficult to win. It's about how you all die together. And I'm just like, maybe that would put some people off, and I'm like, yes.
I want like, every bit of that.
Yes, like how are we going to like
let's go out with a bang.
And like how are we gonna die together? Oh man, it just sounds like so fun and spooky, and one that like I've just been dying to play, and can't wait to like finally get it into my collection at some point.
Okay, so my number 4 has already been mentioned.
Oh.
Do Do you want to guess?
Horrified.
Yeah. My number 4 is Horrified. Kim already did a great job of explaining it. But yeah, I just think, I mean, a board game that has Dracula and Frankenstein and the Mummy, and like, how can that not be Halloween themed or Halloween related? So yeah, like Kim said, just a cooperative game, work together, try to defeat the monsters, and it's just fun and entertaining, and it's really easy to teach.
Yeah.
Really easy to teach. I feel like Horrified is one that you could bring out for people who are like not even really gamers.
Yeah.
And you could pretty simply like teach and play the game. And so, yeah, but theme-wise, it's perfect for Halloween.
Top 3.
Top
Are you ready?
3. I'm ready.
Okay. My number 3 is one of my favorite board games, and that is...
Hold up. Oh, wait, go ahead. I was going to guess, but never mind. I decided I was going to let you go for it.
Zombicide.
Zombicide, okay.
Yes. I love Zombicide. And every time I play this game all year round, I don't just play it at Halloween, but it's especially fun to pull it out for Halloween, and I can use it as Halloween as an excuse to play one of my favorite board games again. And then specifically Zombicide Black Plague. That's the one
I was going to ask if that one's your favorite.
Yes,
Black
Plague.
Plague.
Zombicide Black Plague.
Because
you're in medieval times, and to me that's just more exciting, I guess. Like, because maybe it has a little bit of that medieval fantasy element, and I love, like, that medieval fantasy theme.
Yeah.
So you are a character in medieval times, and there's, like, a story that can go along with it. You can play a single scenario by itself, but you can also play it, like, in order where you follow the story. And if you can't tell, I really like story-based games.
Story-based.
Yeah. They're just a lot of fun to play through. So you are the character, and you have these abilities, and you're collecting, like, you're doing search actions, and each scenario has its own mission that you're trying to complete. And there are definitely times where we die and fail miserably, and the zombies overtake us, and then there are other times when we complete the mission. And then specifically for Halloween, I really like to add the Wolfsburg expansion, because... zombie werewolves. Hello. Like,
zombies plus werewolves.
Yes. It's like, it makes, those wolves are terrifying because they move extra fast, and like they add a whole another level of intensity. Probably is my favorite game on this list, even though it's not my top 1 for Halloween, but it is probably my favorite game on this list. So, my number 3.
So, my number 3 is going to be actually a solo game.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think you probably have a guess.
Final
Girl. Yes. So, in Final Girl, like I said, it is a solo game. But basically, you sit down and you are playing as the final girl in whatever particular story you decide to play at that time. And you are quite literally fighting against the killer, and you're trying to rescue the other like people, and you're trying to kill the killer and basically come out victorious. But the fun thing about Final Girl is they have so many different I forget what they call them. They're like movie features or something. So like basically what you do is you can pick and choose, like, okay, I want to play as this final girl, but against this villain. Or I want to play, like, they're all kind of like interchangeable, which makes it really fun. In order to play this game, you need the core box and then whatever, like, feature film you want. And so what some people do is they actually have, like, a couple core boxes. And so when they want to sit down and play it with other people, they just hand everybody a core box and then have people pick what feature they want. Again, you're not really playing with each other, but you're kind of playing the same game like around other people. So that's what some people do. I mean, I think it's totally fine solo, personally. But yeah, it's just a fun game to, like, literally it feels like you're in the movies, because there's times where, like, you get the exact weapon that you need and you're able to move to the spot and you shoot him and you kill him. Like, it just feels like one of those movies that, you know, you kind of tend to watch around Halloween time, like, like, you know, like
Scream.
Like Scream, like it feels like you're living in one of those movies, and so I think it's a perfect game to pull out and play around Halloween time, and it's nice because it's solo, so you technically can just pull it out and play it on your own
Your
if you want to.
night.
Own spooky night.
My number 2 spot is Vagrant Song. Carly and I delved into this game this week. This is the game that I bought this year to add to my collection specifically for Halloween. It is another story-based game where you have a campaign that you're playing through. You are playing as these adorable vagrants. Yeah, the artwork is so amazing. I love the artwork in this game. So you're playing as vagrants and you're hopping onto this train, and the train is like haunted by these, they're called haints. And you are trying to restore the humanity back to the haint, and there's different haints that you like go through each chapter essentially, until you play through the whole campaign, and hopefully you've restored as much of them as you can. But even if you don't restore the humanity to one of them, you can still move on to the next chapter, and the different things affect future gameplay. So I love that kind of, I guess, legacy campaign gameplay. Vagrant Song is my number 2.
So can you guess what my number 2 is?
Vagrant Song.
I can't believe they're both number 2.
All right, there we go. We mind melded there.
We did. So yeah, Vagrant Song is my number 2 as well. And the reason why is because the theme is just so perfect.
Yes.
Like, I fell in love with the theme when we were playing. And granted, like, I feel like I was struggling through the rulebook.
Oh yes, we definitely were.
Like it was a little bit of a struggle to learn. And normally, like, I'm fine with rulebooks. Like, I can handle them. But for some reason, that one was kind of a struggle for me.
Yeah.
So I know, like, in the last campaign, they actually are coming out with like an updated rulebook. So I don't think it's just us that had a problem with the rulebook. But rulebook aside, we pushed through it, and like by the end of our first like trial, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this game. I want to play it again, because that theme is just so cool, that you're on this haunted train and you're trying to restore these ghosts' humanity. You know what I mean? And you're trying to basically, just like send them to heaven. You know what I mean?
You lose your own humanity.
Yeah, and that's
too.
what's so cool is like you have the opportunity to become westbound, so you can get to the point where you lose your own humanity enough that you too become like the ghosts. And it's just so interesting. This is another one that like I really want to play like by candlelight.
Yes.
Like I want to sit down, dim the lights, and just play through a bunch of these scenarios. And like you said, the artwork,
like 1920s music.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my goodness, yes. Like 1920s, like really kind of like creepy music, and and like the artwork and everything about this game is just. I'm so excited to dive into this game more.
Yep. And I bought it specifically for my Halloween collection.
Yes.
So it had to hit number 2.
Yep, number 2. I can't believe we had a crossover. Number 2.
Okay.
All right, our number 1.
My number 1 is maybe an obvious choice to board gamers.
Can I guess it?
Go ahead.
Is it Betrayal on House of the Hill?
It is. It is Betrayal at House on the Hill. This is not my favorite game. Like I mentioned, on this list, Zombicide is probably my favorite game. But for Halloween, it is my favorite game, I guess, because I mean, I mentioned traitors earlier. You have a traitor in Betrayal. It starts as it starts as an exploration phase where you're exploring this mansion, and you're finding events are happening, you're finding items, you're finding omens, and when you have a certain amount of omens that are found based off of like the dice roll, then the second phase of the game begins, which is the haunt phase. And then you get a traitor, and then the other players have their goal. So the traitor has their goal that they're trying to accomplish, and then the heroes, they're what they're called, are trying to have their goal. And I have a soft spot for this game too, because this game is also one that got me into board gaming. The first time I ever played it, I was a teenager. And played it with my sister and her husband, and that was another game that I'm like, whoa, there's a whole nother world of board games. Like, I'd never played anything like it before. And I hated playing it, but I also loved playing it because I was always so terrified I was going to become the traitor because I hate being the traitor. I'm just like, it's hard for me to be in that position. I don't mind it as much now because it's like over 10 years now, but of playing Betrayal at House on the Hill. But the replayability is amazing. They've now come out with expansions for it, so there's more scenarios to play through. And you dim the lights, you put on spooky music. When you draw an event card, you read it in a spooky voice, and you're like,
and you get scared.
Yeah, you can get, for me, the theme is really strong, and you can get into, you make it what it is. Like, is it the best game out there? Is it the most perfect game? No. Is it do people hate on it now because it's been around forever? Maybe, but for me, there's no denying that it is the perfect Halloween board game.
All right, so my number one, I'm kind of ashamed that this is my number one because this is one that I haven't played. Oh. But it is my number one because I actually probably could have added this to games that I regret not backing. This probably would have been my number 6. Because when I see this game, it just screams Halloween to me, and it is so Halloween-y that I would buy this game only to play it at Halloween, and I would just never play it again throughout the rest of the year because it is like that thematic. And so my number one is actually Dreadful Meadows. It is a brand new game. I think the people who backed it are just finally or just barely starting to get it at the time that we're filming this video. But in Dreadful Meadows, you take on the role as I forget what they call it. It's like a candy confectioner. And so there's like a pumpkin man, there's a ghost, there's a skeleton woman, and then this monster with one eye. But basically what you're doing is you're just building out fields to grow candy. Oh, and cute. So you're growing candy and producing candy, and then you're spending that candy to make more fields. So it's I don't want to say it's a farming game, but kind of a little bit, where you're literally just growing out your fields, trying to make Halloween candy. And it's so, the artwork in it is so stinking adorable. You just take a look at that cover and you're like, yep, that is a Halloween game. And so when I was thinking of this list, that was the very first one that came to mind for me. And again, I feel bad putting it so high on the list, but in regards to theme, that is just a straight up Halloween game. It is straight up, you would never pull that out any other time of the year. Yeah. Some days you might feel spooky, you know what I mean? But you're never going to want to make Halloween candy at any other time in the year other than Halloween time. And so again, in regards to theme, I just think it is so stinking cute. I looked through so many gameplays and I want this game so badly. I am regretting not backing it, and then I'm regretting not pre-ordering it. Because I think even on Boardlandia or something,
is it sold out?
They had they had a pre-order that I missed, and I'm so stinking mad about it. Because it's one that I just need in my collection for Halloween time. Literally, I'm going to buy that game just so I can have it for Halloween time because it's so stinking cute. I can't even handle it. All right, so those were our 10 games, our top 10 Halloween games for 2023.
Yeah.
For 2023, those are our 10 Halloween games that we would personally recommend.
When I was doing my, research for my Halloween board game list, there were a ton of spooky themed games that came up that I haven't ever played before. So obviously there's a ton that we could add. We could add, but we've never played before. So, we broke that rule a little bit.
A little bit.
With our list, but still. So I would love to know what games you guys would add to the list. What do you think makes a great Halloween board game? And specifically, if you guys have any recommendations for a vampire-themed board game, I really want to add something. And I think there's one called Rivals. I was looking at, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
That is vampire related, but I'm I need a vampire board game in my Halloween collection. So if anyone has any vampire board game recommendations, comment, please.
Yes, let us know all of the vampire board games, all of the Halloween board games that you personally have in your own collection, or any that you would add to a Halloween list because, yeah, we love going through all the comments and reading everything, all of your suggestions as well. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't yet subscribed, it would mean so much to us if you could do that, kind of help support everything that we're doing over here on the channel. And then until next time, we hope you have a super spooky, great Halloween season, playing all the Halloween games, and we will see you next time. Okay, so I personally asked Kim to bring over some of her earrings because they are just so cute and I just need to showcase them because she is amazing. So I don't even know if you can tell, but there are these skeleton earrings which are so cute. And what ones are you wearing? Coffin?
Yeah.
She like makes these by hand. It's insane. So she has like these like ghost ones and then these cute ghost ones. I really hope you can see that on the camera because they are so cute. What one is your favorite out of these ones?
My favorite out of
the bats.
Those ones. These are the ones I'm most proud of.
Those are so stinking cute. Yes, I'm going to link to Kim's shop because she is just too talented to like not be like, look how cute. Yeah, so if you're looking for cute Halloween earrings, I'm going to link to Kim's shop down in the description below because they are just so, these ones are my favorite. I love the skeletons. They're adorable.
They are pretty cute. I mean, I'm biased, but they are pretty cute.
They're so cute.